Trump news: how the glare of Donald Trump could overshadow Nikki Haley's Super Tuesday initiatives. The outcome of the Republican presidential primary in Massachusetts, which Peter McCleary will vote in on Super Tuesday, will depend on one thing: whether or not Nikki Haley, a former governor of South Carolina, has defeated Trump. Voter McCleary, 62, of the coastal town of Cohasset, Massachusetts, intends to cast her ballot for Haley, but only if the outcomes of the GOP primary held a week ago revealed that she can defeat Trump in the nomination contest. If it's hopeless, then I'll throw my support around Trump again, McCleary stated, referring to her support for the real estate billionaire in both 2016 and 2020. If they're alive, I don't care who it is so long as it's not Biden. If voters like McCleary help Haley unseat Trump as the frontrunner, she will have a fighting chance. Their growing indifference to her prospects may spell disaster for her plummeting campaign. With early wins in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada under his belt, the narrative has solidified that the former president will be the Republican nominee. Next up for grabs is South Carolina, where Trump has a 30-point advantage against Haley. According to an average of polls by Real Clear Politics, Super Tuesday is coming up, and Trump's former UN ambassador is trying to capitalize on her victory among New Hampshire's independent voters by claiming there is fertile ground for an upset. No party affiliation is required to vote in the primary elections in 11 of the 16 states that hold their elections on that day. Still, it seems more probable that Trump's shadow will block any opportunity for Haley to win in the areas that were once easy pickings. For example, among Massachusetts Republicans who are likely to vote in the primary, a new survey by USA Today, as Suffolk University finds that Trump easily beats Haley, 55% to 38%. Suffolk Political Research Center Director David Paleologos remarked, "We potentially are the canary in the coal mine." When asked about the state, where does she win if she fails to secure the support of independent voters in a state like Massachusetts, where the ratio of registered Democrats to Republicans is 6-1? An indicator of Super Tuesday, because of its proximity to New Hampshire to the south, Massachusetts should be an ideal target for Haley. Both of these New England states have a lot in common. They are home to big numbers of well-educated, wealthy people, the kind of voters Haley does very well with. Although the state leans Democratic, Massachusetts has a higher proportion of independents who supported Haley in the New Hampshire primary, in contrast to New Hampshire's 40% voting base. Over 60% of the state's electorate consists of independents, even though they don't usually cast ballots in Republican primaries. Haley's campaign is counting on a large number of these voters to show up and vote for her in the party's March 5th election, but the Suffolk University survey raises doubts about the feasibility of such an achievement. Despite Haley's 54% support among independent voters, Trump maintained a lead of more than 15 points thanks to his 40% support among the group. Haley received just 5% of the Republican vote in Massachusetts, while Trump received an overwhelming 87%. Campaign manager for former South Carolina Governor Haley in Massachusetts, Jennifer Nasser, has dismissed Republican voters' concerns about her lack of support. "They only represent around 8% of the electorate in the state," she said, "and you don't win elections with 8%. Although it holds true for general elections, studies have consistently shown that party-affiliated voters are more likely to cast ballots in primary elections than independents. Independents, who constitute the bulk of Massachusetts registered voters, are frequently underrepresented in the state's primary voters, according to Tufts University political science professor Jeffrey Berry. Those who actually cast ballots tend to be quite vehement. The importance of voting and the belief that one's vote would have an impact are two factors that influence voter participation, as Berry put it. He contended that Trump's current lead could discourage those that are not as interested in Republican Party politics or don't care as much, or even those that think they're going to vote, but on election day, they get busy, and it simply isn't a priority. The impact of Trump's reassurance among the group of independent voters considering whether to back Haley this year is Bonnie Pumulty, who is 76 years old, living in Brookline, a suburb of Boston. Pumulty is a former school social worker who usually votes for Democrats with a more progressive agenda. While she would never back Haley in a general election, she did say that she is considering switching her Democratic vote to support the former governor in the Republican primary.